he has done that. He's throwing the curveball with much more confidence these days. He's also locating it very well away from right-handers, and he's also throwing that pitch to left-handers. And when you get hitters in the big leagues looking for balls at the bottom of the strike zone, you can change the eye level by coming up in the strike zone with some fastballs. And for me, Porcello is pitching with as much confidence now as he pitched with all of last year.
Well, how good has he been in his last two? Compare it to his first 20 starts. The ERA just 0.64. Opponents batting just 109 against Rick Porcello in his last two. Now, Rick Porcello will get the call again here this evening, and he says that after a slow start this year, he is starting to figure some things out.
I feel like I got a good mix of breaking balls and fastballs. I feel like the command is there, and I really want to keep it going. I think create some momentum and get on a roll here.
Well, Rick Porcello trying to keep that roll going. He will have a new battery mate tonight. Max St. Pierre will get his first major league start after it seems like a long time in the minor leagues. Exciting night tonight for Max St. Pierre.
Max St. Pierre is one of those guys the Tigers have trusted with all of their young starters over the years down in the minor leagues. This is a real nice reward for him. Call him up, let him catch. He's also caught Porcello this year down in the minor leagues, so I don't expect any hiccups here tonight with St. Pierre behind the dish.
You need a map to figure out where Max St. Pierre has been in his life and in his career. He is from Quebec City, so look at some of the stops that Max has had along the way. Of course, Lakeland, Florida, Oneonta, New York. He's been in Double-A in Erie, Pennsylvania. He's been in Huntsville, Alabama, as well in the Southern League, Toledo, and now finally here in Kansas City. His first big league start will come tonight here against the Kansas City Royals. An exciting night tonight for Max St. Pierre. Tigers and Royals just moments away. In the meantime, we send you back to the Call Sam Studios now, and here's Trevor Thompson. City tonight as they file in for Game 2 in this 3-game series against the Detroit Tigers, and we are glad to have you with us here as well tonight. Now, the Tigers, as you know, have had plenty of guys come up from the minor leagues to play this year, getting their first taste of the big leagues. We've talked about St. Pierre, but a guy that's been around a little bit now is Will Rhymes, Rod, and this guy maybe is stepping up and showing that he can probably play that position next year. Second base, of course, had the big hit last night, the triple. He's done really well.
Well, one of the things that Rhymes knows beyond a shadow of a doubt, that he's in the running for that second base job next year. He's watched other guys struggle, and one of the reasons why he has performed so well the second time around is that he has started to relax a little bit. You've talked about all the big hits that he has gotten lately. In his last 14 games, a .355 average with 5 extra base hits. He's got 8 RBIs, and he's playing really both sides of the ball. So it's an outstanding opportunity for Will Rhymes to really show Jim Leland what he could do and stay in that running for 2011.
And the little guy's rolling right now, an 11-game hitting streak for Will Rhymes. Back in the lineup tonight for Jim Leland and the Detroit Tigers. Great night for baseball here. Glad to have you with us. Glad to have Miguel Cabrera back in the lineup. He has absolutely torched KC pitching in his career. Stay with us. Tigers, Royals, next. We welcome back to Kauffman Stadium, the Tigers and the Royals, Game 2 in this 3-game series. By the way, if Detroit combines for 3 or more home runs in this game, make sure you bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get a free small order of curly fries. Well, the Tigers starting lineup tonight. It looks like this. It is presented by Big Boy. And for Detroit, Austin Jackson back in there. He's in center field. Johnny Damon, the DH. Ryan Rayburn is in left. Cabrera, good numbers against Bruce Chen in his career. Johnny Peralta, the shortstop. Brandon Inge at third base. Your bottom 3 is Wells in right. St. Pierre making his big league debut catching. And Will Rhymes at second base. Bernstein Advantage brings you the scouting report on Bruce Chen. Get the Bernstein Advantage. We go to bat for you.
Well, believe it or not, Bruce is the team leader for the Kansas City Royals in wins this year. He has 9. He has 1 more win than Zach Greinke, the ace of the staff. He's well-traveled. He's been with 10 different major league clubs, and he will give you a wide assortment of different pitches from a lot of different arm angles.
And leading it off is Austin Jackson. It'll be Jackson, Damon, and Rayburn here as we get things underway from KC. Austin batting .305, and he takes one in and up, and it got through and nailed the home plate umpire, Dan Iasonia. 1 ball, 1 strike. I think it got him on the shoulder. Here's the 1-1. Game time temp tonight, 77 degrees here in Kansas City. Game 2 in this 3-game set. Tigers starting to wind down this long road trip. Chen's 2-1 pitch. And make it 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Austin Jackson did not start in last night's game, but he came in very late as a defensive replacement. One of the things that Jim Leland has done the last couple of weeks, he's given him a day off on occasion to make sure his legs stay fresh. when you have a very young, talented center fielder that really has to cover as much real estate in the outfield as Jackson has, even though he's young. Every now and then as a manager, you have to give him a day off.
3-2 pitch. And there is ball 4. Leadoff man is on. Jackson draws the walk. Tigers couldn't get anything going early on against Greinke last night. We'll see if they can get to Chen early tonight. Johnny Damon strolling in.
And don't know what Johnny will be doing here batting second for Jim Leland, but we do know what Will Rhymes has done quite a bit of when he has batted behind Jackson, and Jackson has reached base safely. He has simply sacrificed him down in the scoring position.
Damon takes strike 1 in the outer edge. Johnny was 0 for 4 in the ball game last night, and his average at .264. Pretty good numbers though against Chen. I would say very good numbers.
That's probably the reason why he's in today against the left-hander.
And probably the reason why he didn't show sacrifice bunt there, or bunt period. Chen is 33 years old. He hails from Panama City, Panama. And a throwback. And Jackson, who has 21 stolen bases, is off the bag at first base. He's been caught 5 times. And there's your percentage, 81%. 0-2. Damon this year has knocked in 42 runs and has batted mostly in the 2 spot for Jim Leland. He's behind in the count here, 0-2. Chen has been so well traveled. This is his 10th big league team. He was signed as a minor league free agent in March. And he got him. Strike 3. Damon knew it, and he'll walk back to the bench. First strikeout of the ball game for Chen.
Well, when Chen knows that Damon has the kind of numbers, a .500 batting average against him on his career, you have to do a little something different. In that breaking ball, outstanding pitch, obviously froze Damon, and the look that Damon gave Chen was one that, where did that pitch come from?
So here's Ryan Rayburn. He continues to swing it. He homered again in the ball game last night. Was 2 for 4. Had a couple of RBIs. Pops this one up shallow right field. And nobody will get there. Meyer and Getz converged on it. Jackson takes the turn. He's going to try and get to third base, and he will.
Good heads-up base running by Jackson. First and foremost, to go halfway on that ball because he knew where Meyer, the right fielder, was playing. He also knew Getz, the second baseman, was not going to get there. And not only was he able to get to second, but he did not need the help of Gene Lamont, the third base coach, to scamper over to third. That's just a good heads-up base running play by a good young baseball player.
So back in the lineup tonight is Miguel Cabrera, and very early in this game he has an RBI opportunity.
Rayburn, every time he swings the bat these days, whether it's a seed in the outfield or he leaves the building with a home run or a bloop single, he is sizzling hot.
That's driven to the air deep into left center field, way back. That ball is up, and that ball is off the wall. This will get 2 runs in. Cabrera will go to second base and pull in there, and the Tigers take the early lead.
Well, apparently, the biceps tendonitis that was bothering Cabrera the last couple of days is not going to be an issue here tonight for the big fella. And the very first swing that he takes in a couple of days, he almost hits it out of the ballpark.
Jim Leland thought it might have gone, and I think he's going to come out to question it.
He got a little two-seam fastball inside. He pulled his hands in real nice, and it looked like the ball hit right off that padding. Don't know exactly what the rules are here at Kansas City, but we'll see.
It was not a very long conversation. Leland came out and spoke with Scott Berry very quickly, and that was that. So the Tigers lead 2-0 on the double, and Cabrera now with 110 RBIs. That leads the major leagues. Johnny Peralta batting.
And the Tigers saw Chen just a couple of weeks ago in Detroit, and they weren't very kind to him on that start. He lasted just 4 in the third innings, and he gave up 5 earned runs.
Strike called on Peralta. 1-1 on Johnny, who extended his hitting streak last night. He had 1 hit in the ball game and now has hit safely in 11 straight. Trying to knock Cabrera in. And a swing and a miss. 1-2. In Peralta's 11-game hitting streak, he's hitting at a .388 clip with a couple of home runs. He has hit as many homers in a Tigers uniform as he has hit in a Cleveland uniform this year. He spent the majority of the year in Cleveland. Swing and a miss. He went chasing that time, and Bruce Chen has himself another strikeout. His second of the game, 2 gone.
One of the things that Chen does know how to do, he knows how to pitch. He's won 9 games in the major leagues. His stuff is not overpowering, but he's dropping down to a sidearm angle a lot more frequently this year than he has in years past. And he also has a fastball, curve, slider, a changeup, and he throws all those pitches at different speeds. And every now and then he can keep good big league hitters off balance.
Inge takes strike 1.
It's all about deception if you're not overpowering. And you don't have to be a guy that throws 95 miles an hour to win games in the big leagues if you've got some movement on your pitches.
Lifted to right field and slicing foul. Brandon knocked in a couple in the ball game last night, and he was 2 out of 5. The Tigers winning yet another extra inning game. And as a result, come in 1 game under 500 for the season, 67 and 68. Here's the 0-2. Well, the Royals, just like the Tigers, have a rookie making his big league debut behind the plate. That would be Lucas May, who is making his first major league start. So you've got St. Pierre and May, each making their first big league appearances. That's driven down the left field line. It's going to hook, and it will go foul. It had the distance. 1-2 on Brandon. Cabrera has doubled in 2 early on in this game. Tigers have a 2-0 lead. May goes down to block that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes. They got him from the Dodgers, May that is, in the Podsednik deal. So you've got a guy that's been with 10 different big league teams in Chen, and you've got a guy catching him that is making his first start of the major leagues. Here's the 2-2. Little chopper hit slowly towards short. Betancourt will charge. Has trouble getting it out of the glove, but he throws out Inge to retire the side. Tigers with a quick start tonight, though. 2-run double by Cabrera. We go to the bottom of the first in KC. The lineup tonight, he comes through with a 2-run double. And here come the Royals now in the bottom of the first inning, and their lineup is presented by Honda Bluefield. It features Gregor Blanco in center field, Mitch Meyer is in right, and Billy Butler hitting third tonight. Keila Kaihue is the designated hitter, followed by Josh Fields, Alex Gordon, and your bottom three, Lucas May, Chris Getz, and Unieski Bettencourt. Here's the scouting report on Rick Porcello, presented by Scott's Lawn Pro.
Well, Porcello looks to me about as comfortable as he has looked the entire season in his last 3 starts, and one of those reasons why his off-speed pitches are back. He's throwing his curveball. He's also throwing a really good slider, and he's also locating his changeup very well. And when you get that kind of mixture to go along with your two-seam fastball, you're going to work much deeper in games, and that's what Rick has done. He has gone into the 7th inning on a couple of occasions his last few starts he's been out there.
So Gregor Blanco leads it off. Porcello went 7 in his last 2 starts, 1 in Toronto and 1 at home against these Royals. No balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, Blanco, one of those leadoff hitters that chokes up quite a bit on the bats when he's leading off games, which he does on most occasions for Ned Yost, their manager. And because of that, not a whole lot of power out of Gregor Blanco as a leadoff spot.
Here's the 0-2. Bouncing ball foul, first base side. Blanco, as a matter of fact, has hit just 1 home run this year, and that was back on August 21st. It had been a span of 492 at-bats between homers. Ned Yost in his 7th season as a manager. Several different teams now. 1-2. Yost in charge of yet another rebuilding project now here in Kansas City. Trey Hillman gave it a go, but didn't quite work out. Here's the 1-2. That is a fair ball, first base side, and Cabrera will tag the bag. 1 gone.
Let's take a look at the Tigers defensively. It's always presented by Beaumont Hospital. In the outfield, you've got Rayburn, you've got Jackson, you've got Casper Wells against the left-hander. The infield, third to first, reach Inge, Peralta, Rhymes, and Cabrera. And behind the plate, you've got the rookie, Max St. Pierre, making his major league debut.
Well, I'm sure the butterflies have started to dissipate a little bit now that he's been in the ball game here, but 14 seasons in the minor leagues, all leading up to this night for Max St. Pierre. And the one thing they say about Max, he has an absolute rifle for an arm. And we look forward to seeing that on display. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Tap slowly toward third. They're going to let it roll, and it'll go foul.
And St. Pierre caught Porcello down in the minor leagues when Porcello went down for the 4 starts that he spent down in Toledo. And he said for that very reason, he has a pretty good idea of what Porcello could do. But he said his biggest challenge tonight would be the scouting reports on the Kansas City Royals. The pitching coach and Jeff Jones, the bullpen coach, got together with him before the game and gave him that scouting report. And I also saw him huddled up with Alex Avila, so he's gotten quite a bit here to digest in his very first start in the big leagues.
Here's Rick Knapp, the pitching coach. That missed up high.
I was asking Jeff Jones about that, and he said it's up to Porcello to call his own game. If there's something that he wants to throw, he just simply can't throw what Pierre puts down there. And he has to realize that Pierre doesn't know the Kansas City Royals hitters as well as he does. Therefore, we might see him shaking off quite a few guys. Jonesy had great things to say about Pierre and what he has meant to the Tigers organization in the minor leagues.
It seems like Pierre is just trying to take everything in, everything from the plane rides to the hotels to the ballparks. It is all brand new for him at this level. He has played in 1,000,000 games in the minor leagues, but this is just obviously a little bit different. And there is a walk to Mitch Meyer.
Well, speaking of plane rides, when he and Robbie Weinhardt were coming up and they were traveling to Minnesota, Robbie Weinhardt, for whatever reason, had a first-class seat, and Pierre did not have a first-class seat. So Weinhardt said, you know what, I've been here already. Come up here and sit. He said that Pierre was a little reluctant in doing so, but Max told me before the game it was a really nice, comfortable spot.
That's a good story, actually. Of course, Weinhardt hadn't been here all that long either. Here's Billy Butler, and he looks at a ball high.
Weinhardt went on to say that he was 12 years old when Max St. Pierre signed as a player to play in the Tigers organization, so he felt like it was an obligation to give up his first-class seats.
12 years old, huh?
That's what he said.
14 years worth of minor league baseball for Pierre. Here's the 1-0. Butler didn't like that call as he backs out of there.
And Butler, one of the best young right-handed hitters in the game of baseball today, has not hit for a lot of power this year, nor has he really hit for much power in the major leagues, but this cat can flat out hit 300 every single season.
Porcello will try and get him to bounce one in the dirt here and get a double play ball. Butler has done a lot of that this year. In fact, he's hitting to 26. The major league record for double plays hit into in a year is 36, and that was done by Boston great Jim Rice. That is a whole lot of double plays. The 2-1.
That pitch right there has been the difference in Porcello his last number of starts. That slider. The count's 2-1. Butler clearly looking for a fastball. He throws that little slide piece on the outside black, and good hitters take that pitch. Bad hitters, they swing at it in a 2-1 count. And I told you that Butler, he's a good hitter.
Lifted to center field on a line right at Jackson. Retreating back to first base, Mitch Meyer, 2 gone. Keila Ka'aihui will step in now. Didn't start the ball game last night. Keila came on late, and he has a couple of home runs this year.
He's got some power, and they're going to give him lots of opportunities in the month of September. They want to see if that power he's displayed in the minor leagues translates into big league contests, and if it does, he's going to find himself playing for the Royals next year. I don't know if he will be the designated hitter or if Billy Butler, their first baseman, will simply shift to the DH position. And they say that Keila is a much better defender than Butler.
Well, you've got to be intrigued by his power and his size. That is for certain. Both home runs this year that he's hit coming against the Tigers. John Keating did a nice little piece on the Tigers Live pregame about him, asking him, you know, what it's like to have a last name that is constantly mispronounced. And he said, when I go and make reservations, people ask me my last name, I just pull out my credit card and say, there it is. It's on the bottom right there. That is 3-0 now on Ka'aihui.
And a dangerous count right here. And with all the power that he has, don't know for sure, but Ned Yost, their new skipper this year, who took over for Trey Hillman, he might green light him here.
He's taking, and it's a strike. 3-1. Do managers sometimes have a feel on which guys they can green light and which guys they probably shouldn't?
Well, they take a look at guys in spring training sometimes to see whether the guy has the aptitude to do so, whether he will go out of the strike zone, whether in these types of counts. And apparently, I don't think he has that much information on Keila, and therefore may have not green lighted him there. But he does have the kind of power that if you do just throw him a fastball inside, he can leave the building.
Porcello got the benefit of that call, it appeared. 3-2. Runner going on 3-2, wave and a miss. And a strikeout, the first of the ball game for Rick Porcello. We'll go to the second here in KC. Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Strength and stability since 1849. And by Comcast. Call 1-800-COMCAST for TV, phone, and internet. Back here at Kauffman Stadium, where the Tigers and Royals are going at it. Game 2 in this 3-game set. Tigers take an early lead on the 2-run double by Miguel Cabrera in the first inning.
Yeah, most of the right-handers in this game today, you have to understand that Chin will not come inside all that often. Most of the time, when he does come inside, it's just to show you that fastball to get you off of that pitch that he threw to Casper Wells on the very first offering. Therefore, you should simply be looking to try to drive the ball the opposite way today. He can't really jam you with the fastball that very rarely reaches 90 miles an hour.
Chen's last outing, he gave up 2 runs in 6 innings in Cleveland. His last 2 starts coming in the road, and we talked about that last start against Detroit on the 23rd. Tigers put up a 5 spot on him in 4 1/3 innings. Ground ball to short. Betancourt has it there. A routine play for the KC shortstop. Wells is gone.
That's exactly the pitch that I'm talking about right there. Had Wells been looking to drive the ball the opposite way, he simply stays on this ball a little bit longer and he's able to drive it up the middle or the other way. That's a ball that's down and away, and he did exactly what Chin wanted him to do. He pulled it right to the shortstop.
3 straight retired after the double by Cabrera made it 2-0. Here comes the first major league at bat for Max St. Pierre.
I saw him walking around the clubhouse today, and I said, "How you doing?" He said, "Well, I'm a little nervous," and rightfully so.
Tigers were still waiting on whether or not Gerald Laird will be able to go tonight. So when he got to the ballpark, Jim Leland hadn't made his decision yet. There's a bouncing ball back up the middle. Betancourt bobbles it, stays with it, and throws him out. So the first big league at bat is out of the way now for St. Pierre. 2 gone.
Betancourt has played some outstanding baseball this year, even though he kicks this one. He knows he still has time because Max is running. Max does not run all that well. He is a catcher. And I was asking Ned Yost, their manager, before the game, why has Betancourt been so good this year? And he said 2 words. Eddie Rodriguez, who is their third base coach. They both are from Cuban descent. And he said that Eddie Rodriguez stays on him and he does not cut him any slack. And that's why he is having a career year this year. Yuniesky Betancourt.
Here's Will Rhymes with 2 outs. Betancourt now resembles the guy that I thought we were going to see in Seattle all those years.
Well, like I said, Ned said it's Eddie Rodriguez. He has been great for Betancourt.
Ball outside to Rhymes, who has hit safely in 11 straight. .310 batting average for Will. Had a huge 2-run triple in the ball game last night. It came in the 11th inning to break a 5-5 tie. Foul tip into the glove. 2-2 the count.
Yeah, apparently Eddie Rodriguez is going over some scouting reports on how to defend the Tigers. Eddie, good baseball man. He's been with a lot of different teams. Good infield instructor and a good third base coach as well.
2-2 pitch. Off the end of the bat. Foul. My lasting memory of Eddie Rodriguez was in the minor leagues. I was broadcasting in the Midwest League, and he was managing in Quad City. And I came out to the ballpark early one day, and some of his hitters were taking batting practice. Eddie was inside the cage watching BP, not outside the cage. He was crouched inside the cage.
Really?
To get a really good look at his hitter, and I thought, he's going to die today. Somebody's going to foul one up and drill him.
Or
he
broken.
Was fearless.
Or a broken bat or something.
There's a base hit to right field.
Left-handers don't bother Rhymes. Now, we put up some numbers on Will Rhymes when Ron Gardenhire brought in a left-hander to face him in Minnesota, and his numbers are actually better against left-handers than they are against right-handers. And this young man continues to put himself in the conversation at that second base position for 2011.
Make that a 12-game hitting streak now for Rhymes. Jackson takes a ball outside. I guess with all young players, and Rhymes is no different, the determination you have to make is if he can play every day at this level. And Rhymes has been able to get some consistent playing time now with the injury to Carlos Guillen. Swing and a miss.
Well, the Cards have always been stacked against him because of his size. He wasn't a high-round draft choice, which meant there was going to be a lot of other second basemen in the minor leagues that got more reps than he got, but he has simply forced his way into the big leagues and forced his way into the starting lineup.
Jackson had a base on balls and scored a run back in the first inning. Jackson just keeps doing what he's supposed to do. Get on base and score runs. He has scored 19 times in his last 15 games. Very quietly this year, going about his business on a daily basis. Defensively has been astounding at times with some of the running over-the-shoulder grabs he has made. Runner going. Swing and a tip into the glove for strike 3, ending the inning. So the Tigers get a 2-out hit, strand a man, and you're watching Tigers baseball tonight, presented by Bell Tire. In crystal clear high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD. It is sponsored by Comcast. Beautiful ballpark, beautiful night, and the Tigers out to a 2-0 lead this evening as Cabrera knocked in a couple in the first inning. Porcello back to work. He'll face Josh Fields to lead it off. And Fields takes one right at the knees for strike 1.
And Fields made his debut in the major leagues last night this season after being on the DL the majority of the season. And they're going to give him a nice long look here.
And that's a base hit right in front of Ryan Rayburn. Fields taking a wide turn but holding up, and the leadoff man is down. The Royals have their first hit of the game.
The Royals traded Mark Tien to the Chicago White Sox, so they really have to figure out if Fields can be an everyday player at third base for them in 2011. They know Wilson Betemit, who has played there quite a bit, can man that position, but they have to find out about Josh Fields.
Here comes Alex Gordon, who homered in the ball game last night, tying it up late before the Tigers won it in extra innings. Sinker for a strike on the outer edge, 0-1. Gordon hitting .230. Back in 2006, his first year in professional baseball, was the minor league player of the year.
And that's after he was the best player in college in 2005.
It's fouled off.
That's something else I've noticed about Porcello in the last 4 or 5 games. He is much more aggressive with his fastballs inside to the right-handers and to the left-handers. And by doing so to the left-handers, that kind of opens up that outside corner for the real good fading changeup that he's been featuring lately.
One ball and 2 strikes on Gordon. Porcello career against these Royals is 2-1 with a 3.77 ERA. This is his 6th start lifetime against KC. There's the strike called on the outer edge, and Gordon is punched out of there.
Instead of the change piece, he went downstairs with a 2-seam fastball at 92 miles an hour to get the strikeout. But by throwing the fastball up and in on the 2-strike pitch, it clearly opened up the outside corner for Rick.
So here is Lucas May making his major league debut with Omaha this year. Was hitting .275. The crowd giving him a nice round of applause as they put it on the scoreboard. This will be his first big league at bat. And he takes strike 1 from Porcello. Lucas May was acquired from the Dodgers back on July the 28th. They gave up Scott Podsednik in that deal. The 0-1.
Podsednik was playing some outstanding baseball for the Royals the first half of the season. He was always on base, stealing bases. Podsednik, real good leadoff hitter, even though he's gotten up there a little bit in age. Oh,
couldn't hold up.
That 2-seam was filthy today.
1-2. Rick has struck out a pair.
See him shaking off the youngster, St. Pierre. Pierre catching his first game.
Bouncing ball back to the mound. Porcello looks like he will get a double play, and he does. 1-6-3 variety, and the inning is over. No runs, a hit, nobody left. 2 in the books. 2-0 Detroit.
The Chicago White Sox this Monday through Thursday, September 6th through the 9th. Great seats are still available at 866-66-TIGER, or you can log on to tigers.com. The first game of that series on Labor Day. It's a day game at Comerica Park.
White Sox last night rained out against Boston. They are playing 2 today. In fact, Chicago beat Boston in Game 1 in that doubleheader, 3-1. Here it is 2-0 in favor of Detroit. Tigers with a 2-run double off the bat of Miguel Cabrera in the first inning, and Johnny Damon will lead things off in the third.
And Chin threw him a really good breaking ball and struck him out. He froze Johnny Damon the first time Johnny was in the batter's box back in the first inning. That's what Chin will do a lot of these days. He's been dropping down to that sidearm angle against the left-handers and against the right-handers. And apparently it's working for him. He's their team leader in wins with 9.
Driven high in the air to center field. Blanco going back, still going back. Can't make the catch. It's over his head. Damon hits the bag at second. He will go to third. And they are saying that Blanco is saying, is that ball caught in the fence? Damon just kept running.
Well, the umpires are going to have to go out and see whether he could pick it up or not. Boy, they didn't go out very far.
He picked it up quite easily.
He sure did.
So Blanco probably steals a base there.
Jim's going to go out and question that.
He immediately put his arms up before he even tried to take that ball out. So they're going to send, I think, Damon back to second base. And Leland is arguing right now, saying, look, he could have picked that ball up. Second base umpire in the play was Dale Scott. That's Dale Scott that Leland is talking to right now. And Dale is the crew chief. So they're going to send Damon back to second, and that's how it's going to end here. The argument is over.
Most center fielders catch that baseball right there, but Blanco in center field appeared to be coasting on that ball. I don't know if he thought it was going to travel as far as it traveled, but that's probably a play that he should have made. But I remember talking to Gene Lamont in yesterday's game, and I was asking him about the outfielders' throwing arms, and he said they have some pretty good arms out there. He said, but they play very shallow, which means it's going to be tough for me to make some decisions on plays where I have to send guys. And there were two balls in last night's game that got over Blanco's head that looked like they probably should have been caught too.
So Rayburn now, he's singled back in the first inning.
One of which was the triple that Rhymes hit over his head.
Ryan has 6 hits in his last 9 at bats. Foul tip into the glove.
Here's the situation where Jim Leland wants Rayburn to drive the run in. Usually with a runner on second base, nobody out, you want to move them along. But that really does them no good because they might not pitch to Cabrera. Rayburn's been hot, so Jim has no problem in this situation with Rayburn driving this run in instead of simply moving Damon over to third base.
1-2 the count. More and more we are seeing Cabrera have the bat taken out of his hands. Of course, he leads the American League in intentional walks this year.
And they have a real nice parking spot for Cabrera down at first base, and his numbers against Kansas City are off the charts, and his numbers against Chin in his career are really good too, and he's already doubled in a couple of runs today.
And the 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Speaking of Cabrera, this is the only ballpark in the league where the bat boy for the Tigers is almost as big as Cabrera. The young man seated right behind him. Look how big that guy is.
He shaves too.
He's the bat boy.
Needs some coffee too.
And that is tapped right behind home plate. 2-2 the count. You caught him yawning, didn't you?
I did. It's sort of a quick turnaround.
Yeah, that's true.
Clubhouse kids, they do a lot of work. They have to wash all the uniforms after the game, get to the ballpark real early, make sure everything's all set up for the players when they get to the ballpark, and the coaches. Coaches get to the yard at about 12 o'clock every day.
Bouncing ball to short. This will advance the runner, and Betancourt will throw out Rayburn, so move Damon to third.
And now we'll see what Ned Yost wants to do here with Cabrera. Does he want to put him on and play for the double play, or is he somehow going to pitch to him? Ned Yost is in his first year as a manager here in Kansas City, and he signed a deal to stay for the next couple of years. And I asked him before the game, what kind of influence did Bobby Cox have on your career? Of course, Bobby Cox, longtime Hall of Fame manager. At least that's where he's going to end up when his managerial career is all said and done. And Ned Yost said, Bobby Cox meant everything to me. He worked for him for 12 years in Atlanta, started as a bullpen coach, then he went to third base coach for Bobby Cox. And he said the one thing that he tried to do was emulate Bobby Cox at everything that he did because he knew he wanted to be a big league manager. And he said he learned very quickly on that that was going to be impossible because Bobby Cox's intangibles as a manager are just incredible. So he had nothing but glowing words to say about the guy that he used to work for.
And a guy that won a ton of divisional titles in Atlanta. Wouldn't he win 13 straight? I'm trying to remember.
Something like that. It was ridiculous.
It was over 10.
I mean, he said that Bobby Cox taught him everything about managing, how to treat people, how to go about your business on a day-to-day basis. He said it was remarkable. Jim Leland has said the same thing about Tony La Russa, his longtime buddy, who gave him an opportunity to coach in the big leagues.
Here's Peralta. He sends one high in the air to left. Alex Gordon camping under it. Damon tagging. Catch is made. Here comes the throw. It's up the line and both runners move up.
And Johnny Peralta has done nice work for the Tigers since putting their uniform on. Came over right at the beginning of the trade deadline, or into the trade deadline, because they were struggling offensively, and boy, has he given them a boost.
Damon's run makes it 3-0 Detroit. Peralta has his 65th RBI. He's driven in a lot of runs in a Tigers uniform. Here's Brandon Inge now with 2 outs. So it's something we've kind of kept an eye on after they walk Cabrera intentionally. What the Tigers are able to do after that. And Peralta got it done again, knocking in a run. Angel for 1 with a bounce out back in the first. Tigers had 3 runs, 4 hits so far in this game off Bruce Chen. Inge got his 1,000th big league hit back in late August against these Kansas City Royals. It was back home, though. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Lifting that one toward right, but it's going to head foul. Meyer unable to get there.
Just to tie a ribbon around that story regarding Bobby Cox and Ned Yost and Leland and La Russa. Leland said he was a good manager when he got to the big leagues as a coach in Chicago. He said, but La Russa taught him how to be a good big league manager. And he said there was a difference.
One and two. That'll get back out of play. It appears. Yep. Into the seats. 1-2. It stays on Inge. Ned Yost is also very good friends apparently with Dale Earnhardt, and Yost wants his number changed next year to number 3, and that number right now belongs to Unieski Betancourt.
He might have to pay for it.
So even if you're the skipper, you're going to have to pay for it?
Well, the way that Unieski's playing some baseball this year, I don't know if I'd want to take his number.
That's true. Karma. Outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Brandon. Tigers got 2 in the first. They've added 1 more here in the third. Fouled away again. Inge last year had to battle the bad knees. The knees finally getting to the point where Brandon feels that it's close to 100%. Of course, he missed some time when he took a pitch off his hand, breaking his hand earlier this year, but he's come back from that. He has knocked in 56 runs this season. Number 57 is standing at second base. And it's fouled away again. Chen having trouble putting Inge away.
Well, as you can imagine, Chen does not really have that legitimate out pitch. He has an assortment of different pitches, but he doesn't have that one lights out pitch that he could put you away with. What he simply tries to do, and he's been successful at doing so, and that's getting you to put the ball in play because he keeps you off balance with the amount of speeds that he changes on all his pitches.
Swing and a miss. It took 9 pitches, but he finally strikes out Inge. Ending the inning. Tigers get another run. They lead by 3. Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by the Romani Eye Institute, the most trusted name in eye care. And by AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. AT&T. Rethink possible. Back here in Kansas City, riding the merry-go-round in a 3-0 Tigers lead as we go to the bottom of the third. Porcello back to the hill facing Chris Getz, who leads it off.
Those used to be great times, riding around on the merry-go-round, not a care in the world.
It's chopped to the right side, right at first baseman Cabrera, who will tag the bag for the out. Getz is gone, 1 away.
And Porcello looks as good tonight as he looked his last couple of starts, pounding the strike zone with good firm fastballs, getting lots of ground balls. And his secondary pitches have been very good as well.
Here is Betancourt. Unieski now with 67 RBIs. Last night of the ball game, 1 for 5. Only 2 other Royal shortstops in their history have had more RBIs in a year, and that was Jay Bell, who had 91, and Angel Baroa had 73 one season. Ground ball to third, pulled right at Inge, who knocks it down. And gone is Betancourt, 5-3, 2 away. Time for a game break now. We go to the studio. And here's Trevor Thompson. Well, Jim Thome now has 20 on the season, and I guess that extra inning game in the last game of the series against Minnesota had no effect on them.
None.
They had beaten Texas in the first 2 games in that series. Blanco, the batter, here with 2 outs.
Did you see where the San Diego Padres have lost 9 games in a row?
Yeah, I noticed that.
They lost again today.
Oh, did they?
9 games in a row they have lost down the stretch. That lead that they had in the National League West and was down to 3 before play today.
The 0-2.
That's a bad time to go on a 9-game losing streak.
Yeah, the month of September, and they had a decent lead in the West, and San Diego now 2.5 up on San Francisco.
And don't go to sleep on that Colorado team. They always play their best baseball last month of the year.
San Francisco is in Los Angeles tonight. Pretty good pitching matchup in that one. Kane and Lilly. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Grounded foul. That one will skitter back into the Tigers dugout. Bud Black is the manager of that San Diego team, trying to hold on for dear life. He is a former Kansas City Royal. Porcello trying to finish off Blanco here. Blanco is 0 for 1 with a ground ball. And he just missed. 3-2 the count. Blanco getting a chance to lead off with the traded Podsednik. Little chopper. Going to be a tough play. Porcello can't get to it. Look at Inge. He made it close. He came out of nowhere to barehand that ball between Porcello and Peralta. But Blanco is able to beat it out. Infield hit.
I told you last night that Inge is a really good athlete. That he has played some center field for the Tigers. He was their catcher a few years ago before Pudge Rodriguez got here. And the reason why he is so good at third base is his feet. They never, ever stop moving. Real nice agility by Brandon Inge.
2-out infield hit. Here is Mitch Meyer. And he rolls one to the right side, under the glove of Cabrera, into right field. Blanco going to third base. He's in there standing up. A seeing-eyed single, literally to right field, just out of the reach of Cabrera. First and third now with 2 outs.
Cappy's got some decent range at third base, and if he could simply do it all over again. I talked about the feet, and they never stop with Inge. Cabrera simply stopped his feet there and reached for it, therefore was not able to get that baseball.
So an infield hit and a ball that just eludes Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah, this is the last guy that you wanted to see coming up, regardless of the situation, with traffic on the base paths.
Ooh, a little bit outside. Porcello with a good hard fastball that missed.
First time up, they pitched him aggressively inside. They got him to fly out harmlessly to center field. That first pitch, they went away from Billy.
Royals have 3 hits, all singles. Sinker at the knees for a strike.
Taking a look at Cabrera over at first base and the fact that he is shading his eyes from the sun, that may have been what happened on that ground ball. He may have simply not saw that baseball, because that's usually a play that Cabrera makes. He's got some good range at first base.
In the air to shallow right field. This is trouble. It's going to drop. Base hit. A run will score. Meyer is going to third. Eddie Rodriguez will stop him there. And Billy Butler dumps a single into right field. A 2-out run for KC.
He just finds a way to get hits. Just simply finds a way to get hits. It's like a little two-seam fastball that crowded Butler. He hit it off the label, and it found some real estate.
Frustrating for Porcello. He retired the first 2 batters, then an infield hit. A ball that just eluded Cabrera, and a little bloop to right field.
Here's Cabrera. You can see every time he comes off that bag, it's tough for him to see. It's a real nice shot there by a camera crew here in Kansas City, who does marvelous work.
And there's just a little sliver of sunshine that is in the absolute worst spot for a first baseman. With 2 outs, Kaihue struck out back in the first inning.
And Cappy not having a whole lot of fun right now playing first base, especially with Keela standing in that batter's box. If he hits one down there, he and both Billy Butler can't see a thing.
What's Keela's last name?
Ka'ahui.
It's a good effort.
What is it?
Ka'ahui.
Ka'ahui. Is that correct?
Hue.
Ka'ahui.
There you go.
That's why I call him Keela.
It's much easier.
And that's why when he checks in the hotels and they ask him his last name, he just simply hands the credit card. I would be one of those as well.
1-1 is low. 2 balls, 1 strike. All of a sudden, the Royals now have runners at first and third, and Cabrera's saying, what do you want me to do? I need some sunglasses.
That's why he didn't catch that ground ball.
And now Kevin Rand will get the sunglasses out.
I mean, it's really dangerous when you've got a guy standing in the batter's box that's left-handed that has real good power.
That's where it's coming from right there. That little sliver of sunlight, which is directly in the eyes of the first baseman and the runner at first base. So even the guy at first base is having trouble, and that would be Butler looking at the signs from his third base coach.
Well, they're still holding Butler on, and he doesn't steal bases. But I guess what Jim's thinking here, on a gapper, they don't want Butler to get too big a jump. So that's why Cabrera is still holding him on at first base.
Strike called on the outer edge. Are those cabbie sunglasses? They don't appear to fit, and I think he just took them off now.
Those were old-fashioned sunglasses. Those are the flip-down glasses.
He just took them off. He's going to play behind the runner now.
He can see back there.
The 2-2 is lifted in the air to shallow center. Here comes Jackson on the run. It's going to drop in a base hit, and another run will score. Boy, oh boy, some bloops in this inning. And all of a sudden now it's a 3-2 ball game.
2 infield singles and 2 bloop singles. Porcello just needs to continue to make good pitches because he's making very good pitches. He made a really good pitch to Butler. Butler got jammed. He made a nice pitch there to Keela. Keela also got jammed, but both were rewarded with base hits and RBI.
Eighth RBI for Ka'aihue. And now here is Josh Fields. Ball 1 outside. 5 hits now for KC, and to be honest with you, none of them have been very impressive in this inning. But Butler's bloop single got a run in. And Keela's hit makes it a 3-2 game. Fields had a single back in the second. 1-1. Butler has moved to second base. Ka'aihue is at first. Swing and a miss. Fields had that hip surgery in April where they had to repair his labrum in his hip, and he missed all of the year this year, with the exception of last night. He came back for his first game last night. This is only his second game of the season. Swing and a miss, and down he goes. Porcello gets the strikeout, ending the inning. But they get 4 hits in the inning, and they score a couple of runs, and it's now 3-2. tonight. When was the last time the Tigers played 3 consecutive extra inning games? It's a stretch they're in right now with last night's extra inning game. Last time they played 3 straight in extra innings. They played a 10-inning game, a 13-inning game. Those 2 were in Minnesota, and then the 11-inning game last night. Bruce Chen back to the hill. Tiger lead now is down to 1. 3-2 is our score. As Casper Wells leads it off in the 4th inning. Wells, St. Pierre, and Rhymes. Driven down the left field line. It is a foul ball. It rattles against the fence. 0-2 on Casper. Wells has a 6-game hitting streak. Tigers got 2 against Chen in the first. They added 1 more in the third. They've had at least 1 base runner in every inning so far. One and 2.
Looks like Gregor Blanco in center field playing a little deeper now than he has been the first game of this series. I told you there's been about 3 balls hit over his head, and it looks like Rusty Kuntz has gotten him to back up a little bit. There's Rusty, former teammate on a couple of different occasions.
Two and 2. Bottom 3 in the Tigers lineup here in this inning. Wells takes it right at the knees for strike 3. He wasn't so sure about that call. And Chen has the strikeout.
Let's take a look at a couple of plays that have gotten over the head of Blanco in this series, and they've resulted in Tigers runs. I told you Gene Lamont told me he plays a very shallow center field, and therefore there's been a couple of balls that have gotten over his head by just an eyelash. We had one tonight. We had a couple in last night's game.
Certainly makes you appreciate Austin Jackson.
No doubt. We talked about Jackson, his dazzling plays.
St. Pierre in his 2nd big league at bat. He grounded out his first time up. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Pierre said when he was told by Larry Parrish, the manager in Toledo, he was coming to the major leagues, he set 5 alarm clocks. He said he did not want to miss his wake-up call.
Where do you get 5 alarm clocks?
He said he had 3 on his phone, and then he set 2 other ones in the house. Anybody that's had to take a flight early in the morning, you kind of understand what he's talking about. You don't get any sleep that night because you're afraid that you are going to miss your wake-up call. He said he got 1 hour of sleep that night before he left from Toledo to go to Minnesota.
Now the outer edge for a strike. 2 and 2. Well, Max, 978 games over 14 seasons in the minor leagues.
I've said 2 before, but I've never said 5.
I've never gone beyond 2. That's fouled back out of play.
And how about when the hotel doesn't call you when you need that wake-up call? There's nothing worse than that. And we spend a lot of our time in hotels.
Yeah, I never ever trust the hotels anymore. Never. 2 and 2 on St. Pierre. And Max pops one up. Right side of the infield. Chris gets to the grass, and St. Pierre is out. He's 0 for 2. That'll bring up Will Rhymes.
He's got a big league name. Max St. Pierre.
And I'm sure at this point now he's kind of settled into this one. I would imagine a lot of the major butterflies are gone.
I do know after that last half inning, he went right over to Jim Leland, and they were probably talking about the pitch selection in that last half inning, the Kansas City hitters, which resulted in a couple of runs, although those balls weren't hit and very hard off Porcello.
Rhymes looking like he wanted to bunt. He's got the third baseman Fields on the grass.
Rhymes is getting more and more comfortable with each big league at bat. He feels like he belongs here now.
Well, he looked like he had the look of confidence the minute he came up, but I would imagine it's just human nature to try and prove to yourself that you do belong at this level. And with the way he's swinging the bat, I think he has proven that to himself.
Well, especially when you've had to prove yourself every step of the way, being a 27th round draft choice, being small in stature. But he can run. He can play some defense. And he's hitting, too.
2-2 on Will. Told the story about Rhymes being out of Houston, Texas, and instead of going to Rice to play college baseball, which is a major program, he decided to go the small college route so he would play instead of sit the bench, and it worked out for him.
There's a lot of guys that went to Rice that are watching him play on TV right now.
That is true. That has popped up left side of the infield. Fields is there, and Chen has a 1-2-3 inning. No runs, no hits, nobody left. Here come the Royals in the bottom of the fourth. Played 3 consecutive extra inning games. And the answer is 1976. Wow. 3 straight extra inning games in July of 76. They've played 3 straights coming into play tonight. A long time ago. Doesn't happen very often, apparently. Porcello going to work here on Alex Gordon. Rick has struck out 3 in the game. Gave up a couple of runs. And some blue pits in the third as Gordon fouls it straight back. 1 ball and 1 strike. Alex Gordon was born in Lincoln, Nebraska, so it stands to reason that he would play his college ball at Nebraska, where he was the Golden Spikes Award winner. Hit hard to second base, right at Rhymes. Gordon is 0 for 2. 1 away. Now Lucas May. May, like Pierre, spent a lot of time in the minors, not 14 years worth, but he was in the minor leagues for 7 years before getting this opportunity here. That is fouled off. And sometimes trades can be the best thing for you, because he was dealt in that trade for Podsednik, and all of a sudden he comes to the Royals and finds himself in the big leagues now. With the injury to Jason Kendall, who's done for the rest of the year, albeit because of an injury, he's here. Here's Rick's 0-1. Breaking ball dips low.
That's what Rick has been doing a lot more of, and that's throwing that curveball that they took away from him last year. But they gave it back to him this year, and since they've given it back to him, he's been lights out. Usually sinker ballers don't throw curveballs. It's usually sinker, slider, change. Yeah, but because he was so effective in the minor leagues his very first year in the Florida State League with that curveball, they simply gave it back to him. So now he has 4 really good pitches at this level.
It's fouled away. Well, for Porcello, that very first year in 08, pitching in Lakeland in 24 games, had an ERA of 2.66. And, of course, he came to the big leagues last year and won 14 games.
He was pitcher of the year in that league, wasn't he?
He was.
Finished in the top 5 in the Rookie of the Year voting last year. That's why I think his struggles the first half of the year caught so many off guard. No one really saw it coming. He was great this year in spring training, but for whatever reason, when the season started, Rick just started to struggle. Caught everybody off guard.
Well, I guess as fans and as folks that watch the game, we just expect natural progression. And if you get to the big leagues and win 14 games, you just kind of figure, well, the next year it's going to be even better. That's fouled away.
He has tremendous mound presence. He's got a lot of aptitude. Cool as a cucumber. And he looks like his old self again, which is a good thing. Yeah, because going into next year or even the remainder of this year, it's a nice 3 starters with Verlander, him, and Scherzer. And Bonderman would have something to say about that too last night. Don't forget about the job he did last night. Bonderman was outstanding.
And speaking of Verlander, he's a prime example of how it isn't always the natural progression. He won 17 games his first year, and then 18, and then he dipped down to 11 and 17.
Bondo did walk 5, but he's stayed in a long time.
Two gone. Getz is 0 for 1 with a bounce out. He'll stand in now with 2 away. That's 3 in a row retired by Porcello after the 4 straight singles. Got the Royals a couple of runs.
And Getz does run, which means he will bunt. And that's why the infielders at their respective positions are playing probably a couple of steps closer than they normally would be playing if a guy did not have the speed that Getz has.
It's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. Getz is out of there. And we played 4 here in KC. It is still 3-2 Detroit.
Group tickets, picnic, and party suites are available with groups of 15 or more, receiving discount tickets to select games while supplies last. Call 313-471-BALL or visit Tigers.com.
Tigers will have the top of the lineup here in the 5th inning. It'll be Austin Jackson, Johnny Damon, and Ryan Rayburn against the left-handed offerings of Bruce Chen. Tigers have 3 runs, 4 hits in this game, 2-5-0 for KC. Jackson with a big rip, 0-1. Austin had a base on balls in the first, scored a run.
Right. Go ahead. Sorry.
156 hits, leading all rookies as he continues to pile up the hits and the runs scored.
I noticed right before that very first pitch to Austin Jackson, and Chin turned around to take a look to see where Betancourt, the shortstop, was playing, because he knows a lot of these Tigers today have already played pepper with the shortstop, Betancourt. He's already fielded 4 ground balls.
Close pitch.
And which is what happens when you have a guy that has a little two-seam fastball that runs down and away from the right-handers, and they just can't stay back on it.
Here's the 1-2. Missed it away again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jackson has had 10 hits on this trip. It has been a fruitful trip for him. One more game to go tomorrow here between these two teams. That's lifted high in the air to left center field. That ball is hit well. This one has a chance, and that ball is gone. It's a home run for Austin Jackson. That'll be his 3rd of the year. And the Tigers now lead 4-2.
This is a perfect example that every now and then you might get fooled. You might be a hair out in front with your body, but if you keep your hands back, you still have a chance to get that. He loaded and then he reloaded, and he caught it just right. And there appears to be a jet stream here at this ballpark that is jetting out to left field. That ball carried a long, long way.
Jackson, for the longest time, had just 1 home run this year. He hit it early in the season in April at Texas, and then he got one in August against the Yankees, and now 1 here against the Royals. And that's ripped into center field, a base hit. So Damon has 2 hits.
Jackson also missed by an eyelash of hitting another home run at Target Field in Minnesota just a couple of days ago. The ball that hit right off the top of the wall, which he got a triple on. He has done everything in a big league uniform, and now the power is starting to show up for Jackson in the last month of the season.
Here is Ryan Rayburn, who has a single and a ground out. That should get back into the seats. Meyer charging, and no, he's going to have room.
That's that wind pushing everything back to play.
So Rayburn is out. And that'll bring up Miguel Cabrera. Wind blowing from right to left here this evening. Not a very strong wind, but apparently enough to keep that one in play. 391 feet on the home run by Mr. Jackson, his 3rd of the year. Ball 1-2 Cabrera. Here's the breeze tonight. The 1-0 pitch. Rolled foul.
It seems like with the renovations they've made here at Kauffman Stadium, it has changed the way that the ball plays here.
I would agree with that.
In recent memory, when we've come here, I never really noticed the ball carrying out to left field as much as I've noticed it this year.
The 1-1.
And that whole area out in left field around to right field is new. All the restaurants, the Hall of Fame building out there, all of it.
Used to be just the fountains out there. Now there's a whole lot more behind it. Hit the third base. Tough hop there for Fields. Ball was hit like a bullet, and safe at first base is Cabrera.
Those are such tough plays, especially coming off the bat of a big, strong power hitter like Cabrera when he gets on top of it. And really what you want to try to do, if you can, as a third baseman, either you come and get it or you back up on it, and Fields could do neither there. Therefore, it hit right off his knee, it looked like.
E5. Cabrera on for the 3rd time in this game. So the Tigers rebuilding their lead. They're up by 2 now with 2 men on, 1 out. Here is Peralta. Johnny shoots one foul back out of play, 0-1. Peralta had a sacrifice fly, picked up another RBI back in the 3rd. That error by Fields, the first for either side here tonight. Line drive, hooking foul. Peralta right now is enjoying an 11-game hitting streak in a Tigers uniform. His career high with the Indians was 12 in a row. He can equal that here tonight. It's been a whale of a trip for him. 12 hits. And the night in, night out just gives the Tigers exactly what they have needed. A professional bat, a guy that has played 3 different positions now after playing first base a couple of nights ago in Minnesota for the first time in his career.
He can play shortstop next year if they want him to do so. He can play that position. He may not have the best range of some of the other shortstops in the major leagues, but the one thing that he has that most of those guys do not have, he's got legitimate pop in his bat. And he catches all the ground balls at shortstop.
Here's the 1-2. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Getz at second base is jockeying back and forth, trying to make sure that Damon does not get a good jump off of second base. Damon doesn't run all that much, but when he does run, he's very, very efficient. And very seldom does Johnny get thrown out. And if you're Cabrera at first and he takes off, you got to get a good jump too, because they'll throw down to second. And apparently they feel like Damon may be wanting to steal a base here. It's a breaking ball count. And a lot of times that kind of goes into the thinking of a base runner at second, anticipating a breaking ball in the dirt.
So Chen now is approaching 100 pitches. That was number 94.
May did not like that last pitch. He probably feels like he was paying too much attention to the base runner there, and therefore threw a fastball right down the middle.
Philip Umber is warming up in the bullpen for KC. Got him. Strike 3, and Peralta, well, he didn't like it. Has a few words for Dan Isonia. Two gone.
Ooh, probably too close to take.
Yep, I agree.
With 2 strikes.
And Fox Track says so as well. Looked like a good call from Dan Isonia. 6 strikeouts for the lefty Chen. 2 away, and here is Brandon Inge. Ball 1 to Brandon, who is 0 for 2 tonight. Strikeout, ground out. One and one. These two teams have played 12 games. The Tigers have won 7 of them. They will meet in Detroit September 20th, 21st, and 22nd. The final meetings between these two clubs. Good pitch, a strike call, 1-2. So Chen now gets ahead. He has given up the home run to Jackson to make it 4-2 Detroit. Trying to pitch out of a jam here in the 5th. He has thrown a lot of pitches tonight. And the left-hander out of Panama City trying to finish off Brandon Inge. Missed it outside, 2-2. So as we play here in the 5th inning, this will be number 100 in the pitch count for Bruce Chen. And he missed 3-2 on Inge. Brandon reaches here, and Casper Wells will hit. There you go, 100 even.
And Brandon might just get that breaking ball he's been looking for the entire at-bat, but it's really difficult to look for in a 3-2 count. You simply have to look for the baseball and hope that you're able to stay back long enough to recognize whether it's a strike or not, if that's what he gets here.
Ooh, there was nobody there to take the throw. Damon was way off the bag, getting ready to move here on 3-2. Johnny scampering back. And the runners go. 3-2 pitch is hammered down the left field line. Foul ball.
He did get the off-speed pitch, but it was a changeup, and as so many Tigers have had a difficult time of doing today, just not able to stay back long enough to make sure that ball stayed fair.
Casper Wells waiting on deck. Lost him, ball 4. That's going to load him up. Inge reaching on the walk. And it appears that's going to be it for Chen, who was over 100 pitches here in the 5th inning. He's had some long innings, and Ned Yost about to make a pitching change here. He signals to the bullpen. It's a wall-side windows pitching change. We'll be back to Kansas City. Local football scene at FoxSportsDetroit.com. Mike O'Hara quarterbacks our Lions coverage. Dave Dye goes the distance with all the news on the Spartans and Wolverines and the entire Big Ten. Get your football fix now at FoxSportsDetroit.com. Bruce Chen is done for the evening. He will give way to the bullpen now, and Chen will leave with the bases loaded, responsible for all 3 runners. He threw 102 pitches tonight, went 4 2/3 innings. Now it's going to be up to the bullpen to make sure that he doesn't give up any more. The home run by Austin Jackson started this inning, and here is Philip Umber.
He has spent the majority of the season at AAA for the Omaha Royals, and he was a starter down there primarily. 21 games, he had 20 starts. 5-6 record for Umber while in the minor leagues, and he got his first major league win against the Tigers. It came at the end of August in a 12-inning game. He pitched 3 scoreless innings of relief.
Chen threw 25 pitches in this inning before they finally lifted him. And here is Casper Wells now with the bases loaded.
Well, you might as well sit on that first pitch fastball just in case you get it if you're Casper.
He does not, and he takes ball 1. Wells 0 for 2, strikeout, ground out. Damon Cabrera and Inge, the base runners. Oh. 2-0. Humber pitched well here on Wednesday night against Texas. Went 2 2/3 in relief. Gave up 1 hit, no runs, and fanned 2 against a really good hitting Rangers ball club. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Driven in the air to center field and hit well. Blanco going back. He'll turn on this one, get there, and make the catch. So the Tigers will get the 1 on the home run by Jackson, and you're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire.
Third inning, but take a little location of these pitches right here. One is to Billy Butler, and the other one is to Kila Ka'ahui, who is the designated hitter here today. They're both up in the strike zone, and that's why they were able to score a couple of runs, because most of the night, Porcello has been at the bottom of the strike zone. 7 ground ball outs, 1 fly out, 4 strikeouts. But when you leave the ball up in the strike zone, as he did there in the third inning, you're going to give up a couple of runs. So he's gotten back to doing what he does best the last few innings.
And he induced the ground ball from Betancourt back in the third. He's 0 for 1, and Uniesky leading off the bottom of the 5th inning. Tigers on top 4-2 in this game. That's rolled foul. 2 balls, 1 strike.
A lot of times that is the difference between a base hit falling harmlessly in the outfield, as we showed you there, of those 2 base hits versus the ground balls if you get the ball up. Even though he crowded both of those guys, he didn't hit it very hard, but they found some real estate in the outfield.
Porcello had 71 pitches through 4 innings. He shattered the bat. Look out. And Betancourt is out of there. That thing went launching on the third base line.
His 2-seam fastball today is wicked. I mean, it's 92-93, but it's the late life on the pitch, which is allowing him to crowd all these guys. Look at the movement on that pitch. That ball started out right down the middle, and that's exactly what Betancourt saw. And then once he started his swing, it was really too late to hold up, and that bat flew further than the baseball did.
Here's Blanco now with 1 out. He lays down a bunt foul.
It's a good idea, although it's got to be a perfect bunt if you're going to get a base hit down toward third. He's one of the better defenders at that position in this league, and that would be Brandon.
Blanco had an infield hit back in the third, scored a run on the single by Billy Butler. No balls, 1 strike. And here's another bunt. He drags this one. Porcello quickly off to make the play and shovels him out.
He's a good athlete. And Porcello was a really good hitter in high school, and he's not that far removed from high school. And he bounced off of that mound, and he got to it, and he gloved it, and then he shuffled it all in one motion to Cabrera. But what you saw there is he had his hand down real close to where he fielded that ball with the glove, which meant he didn't have very far to shuffle that baseball to Cabrera. That's what they teach you to do on bunts. Nice job by Porcello.
2 outs now for Mitch Meyer. They haven't gotten him out tonight or walking a single.
People always think that pitchers aren't good athletes. There are some pitchers that are some good athletes.
Well, we saw one last night, Zach Greinke.
And Verlander's a good athlete, too. Really good athlete.
Burley won the Gold Glove last year.
Some good athletes that are on that pitcher's mound.
Here's the 1-0. And a strike called 1-1. Strike called on the outer edge. 2-2 on Mitch Meyer, the Novi native who played his college ball at Toledo. In his Toledo days collegiately, he was a catcher. #1 pick of the Royals back in 03. And he skies this one to the right side of the infield into shallow right. Wells coming on, calls off the second baseman Rhymes, and a 1-2-3 inning. 5 in the books. 4-2.
With Tigers Live, you'll hear from the manager, Jim Leland, and the players. Plus, we'll break down the game and show you all the highlights. Tigers Live from the Call Sam Studios immediately after the game here on Fox Sports Detroit.
Tigers have a 4-2 lead as we go down to the 6th inning. It'll be Max St. Pierre leading it off in his big league debut. He's 0 for 2. Strike 1 from Umber. St. Pierre, Rhymes, and then Austin Jackson. The 0-1 pitch. Ooh, down he goes. He fouled it off his foot.
He's not going to let that stop him. This kid's waited 14 years for this opportunity.
Might get him on the foot or the shin or the knee. Let's see. Ooh, the knee.
Back knee.
Yeah.
Catchers take care of catchers as well. May also making his major league debut catching here for the Kansas City Royals. He knew that one got. And St. Pierre pretty good. Therefore, he went out to help St. Pierre get over his agony by talking to his pitcher, Umber. That hurt. Very seldom do you see right-handed batters hit a ball off of their back knee, but every now and then it does happen.
Now Leland and Kevin Rand out there to take a look, and it appears that St. Pierre will be okay.
Right off the back knee there. You don't see it very often. Ouch. Outside of the knee, as a matter of fact. He went down quickly.
0-2 on Max. Ground out his first time up. Pop up his second time up. Here's the 0-2. This is not the first time that St. Pierre has been in a big league clubhouse. He was called up by the Tigers back in 04, but was not used, nor was he put on the roster. He was just basically used as an extra catcher that would catch bullpens and such, but he was not put on the roster. It wasn't an official call-up. This one is an official call-up. And he got him looking. Strike 3. And Pierre is out of there, limping back to the dugout. That is the 7th strikeout for KC pitching tonight. Here comes Will Rhymes. Game hitting streak for Rhymes. He singled his first time up, 1 for 2 tonight.
Humper's got some nice stuff. 94, 95 with the fastball. You saw the breaking ball that froze St. Pierre for strike 3. Started 20 games in the minor leagues in AAA this year for Omaha.
Getz coming over to make this play, and his throw is in time. They get Rhymes by half a step. 2 gone. It's going to break up Austin Jackson. Jackson homered in the 5th. Gives him 11 hits on this road trip. He looks at strike 1. Jackson also has 9 triples this year, which is tied for the league lead. It's going to be interesting to see how, as September rolls on, how this Rookie of the Year race shapes up. Jackson certainly has to be at the top of the list, or near the top. Umber's 0-2.
We always talk about Jackson and the fact that he is a rookie, but he has been one of your better leadoff hitters in the American League. He has had a tremendous season leading off for Jim Leland.
Little pop up that'll drop in. Back to the second baseman Getz. So it's a 2-out single for Austin Jackson. By the way, you can vote for your Tigers McDonald's player of the game using your cell phone. You can text Tigers followed by a space, then the player's uniform number. 37338 is the number. Or FSDET. See the final results post-game during Tigers Live.
Well, we'll see if Jackson's in a running mood. I guess the time of Umber getting the ball to his young catcher May will determine whether he can get a good jump or not. He does have the green lights. On occasion, Jim will simply stop him. I don't think this would be one of those situations with 2 outs.
Damon, the hitter. Tigers now have 7 hits. Royals tonight have been limited to 5 hits by Porcello. Johnny fouls one back. He's had a big night tonight. Single, double, runs scored. Damon's career began here in Kansas City. It's a career that has brought him through several different towns in the big leagues. Championships with the Red Sox and the Yankees. Signed a one-year deal in the offseason with Detroit. Here's the 1-1. Earlier this year, he crossed the 2,500 plateau in hits. Rod, do you think 3,000 is on his mind? He still needs quite a few.
I think it's on his mind. I don't know if he'll get there or not. I guess it depends on whether he's able to play 2 or 3 more years. He's still got a very young body. He's still in very good shape. But you don't know if those will come as a designated hitter or if someone gives him a chance to play in the outfield. It's not very often that your designated hitter is a guy that's a table setter.
True.
That's usually a spot for a big physical strong guy that can hit the ball in the seats.
Demon this year, 7 home runs. The home run numbers down from even last year. Here's the 1-2. Got him. Strike 3 on the outer edge, and the inning is over. No runs and a hit. 8 strikeouts for KC pitching tonight.
Cam, we're going to take you back to the 3rd inning after a Billy Butler single in the outfield. Cabrera standing over at first base, and he cannot see a thing. And then Cabrera's asking for some glasses, and Kevin Rand, the head athletic trainer, kind of runs some out to him. Kevin celebrated his 51st birthday yesterday, still a little spunky, and he brought some glasses out. And Kevin didn't like him very much. He wore them for one batter and then simply put them in his back pocket. Coors Light Freeze Cam, always brought to you by your Frost Brewed Coors Light. They say the sun only stays out for about 5 minutes in that one area where Cabrera was having a difficult time of seeing there in the 3rd.
Those glasses look like he came out of the Jetsons. And that's going to split the gap in left center, but over there quickly is Mr. Jackson to hold Butler to a single.
He is fun to watch. I know he beats up on us, but if you're a baseball guy, you just kind of like watching Billy Butler hit that baseball. He goes foul line to foul line. That's one of the reasons why this guy hits 300. He just might win a batting title someday. And there will not be anything cheap about any of the hits that he gets because he doesn't get many infield singles.
Seems like a good candidate, that's for sure.
I do know this much. Those 2 guys that's standing over at first base right now, Cabrera and Billy Butler, they are 1 and 2 of 5 players in the history of the game to have 50 or more doubles, 20 or more home runs before their 24th birthdays. There's only been 5 guys to do that in the history of the game, and 2 of them are in this ballpark tonight. Billy Butler did it last year. Cabrera did it before he came to the Tigers when he was wearing a Florida Marlins uniform. And they're the other 3 that have done it. Hank Greenberg did it in 34. A-Rod did it in 96, and Pujols did it in 2003. Rare rare company.
A-Rod did it at 20 years of age.
Special company. And Billy's in that company.
2-1 on Ka'aihui, who singled in a run back in the third. High fly ball toward left field, slicing away from Rayburn. Still going back. He looks up on it, and that ball is going to go. It's a home run for Ka'aihui, who has hit 3 this year, all against the Tigers. That one to the opposite field to tie the game.
Not to take anything away from Keela in this situation, because he simply went with the pitch and he flipped the ball against the traffic to left field, but that's not a home run on most nights in most ballparks, but the ball carries very well here to left field.
Four ball game. Each team now has 7 hits. And we begin anew here as Josh Fields takes outside.
The other 2 home runs that he hit against the Tigers, those came to right field at Comerica Park. And there was nothing cheap about him either.
Bouncing ball to third. Inge waits on the hop and throws out Fields, 1 away. So the Royals get 2 here in the 6th on 1 swing of the bat. Here comes Alex Gordon. Fouled straight back, 0-1. Porcello recently had done a good job of limiting the home run ball. In fact, he allowed just 1 home run over his last 5 starts. This one, as you say, probably is not out of many ballparks. But here, it's gone.
Porcello's gotten 3 balls up in the strike zone today. 2 to Keela, 1 to Butler, and they've resulted in 4 runs here today. Those are really the only mistakes that he has made, and Kansas City has made him pay. They have not missed the balls up. Take a look at this pitch right here. It's up in the strike zone, 2-seam fastball away from him, but it's right around the belt buckle, and it's flipped out of here to left field.
2-2 on Gordon. Alex in the ball game tonight, a strikeout and a ground out. And the 2-2 pitch fouled off. Leadoff single by Butler, the home run by Ka'aihui. Another foul back out of play by Gordon. We talk about the fact that Gordon just has not been able to do it at the big league level in terms of consistency. He's also been injured a lot, and he was hurt at the start of this year as well, spending some time on the DL with a broken thumb. Fouled away, and I guess they're trying to see if he can stay healthy for a year and see what kind of numbers he can put up in a full season.
Well, they're hoping by the move to left field that will aid in him staying healthy. There are some that follow this Kansas City Royals organization on a day-to-day basis, and they say that this is the first time they've really ever seen him smile up here. He's having fun.
That ball's hit a ton to center field. Jackson on the run, still going back, reaches, and he made the catch.
That boy's out cold in center field. Out and cold.
Jackson just does that with relative ease. He just glides to the ball and always outruns it.
He always takes great routes to the ball, and his first step is so quick. He is unbelievable in center field. He really is unbelievable out there. I talked to Jackson, I don't know, about a week ago or so. I said, how do you run down all those balls? And he says, Rob, literally when they go up, I don't think that I can get there, but I just never, ever stop running, and I'm able to get to a lot of these balls. And a lot of them were spectacular catches.
A center fielder like Jackson becomes so much more important in the home ballpark that he plays in, spacious Comerica Park, where it's 420 to dead center.
The one thing that he says that he's able to do in the outfield is he takes his natural running motion when running after balls. I mean, you see some guys, they run sideways, they're wiggling back and forth, they're backpedaling. But he takes his natural running motion when he's running to these balls, and that's how he's able to run them down.
Chopper hit to third. Nice high hop for Brandon Ng. And that is that, but the Royals are able to tie it up on the 2-run shot by Ka'aihuwe, and it's 4-4. Up again, 4 runs apiece as we go now to the 7th inning, and Rayburn leads it off for the Tigers, facing Phil Umber.
Umber's got a nice little breaking ball, and he's not afraid to throw that breaking ball in the very first pitch, a little get-me-over curveball where most hitters aren't looking for it, therefore most guys don't swing at it.
Rayburn, then Cabrera, then Peralta here in the 7th. Ryan is 1 for 3, singled and scored in the first inning.
A fastball at 94, 95, change up about 86. Nice 10-mile-per-hour differential. And the breaking ball a little bit slower than that Umber is featuring here tonight. Fastball up here. Actually, the breaking ball.
Umber began his career with the New York Mets. First-round pick. In fact, he was 3rd overall back in 04. So highly he was thought of, and then he made his way to the Minnesota Twins last couple of years. And a good pitch on the outer edge, and Rayburn is out, 1 gone. Well, the Royals are really racking up the strikeouts now. That is their 9th of the night as a staff. That'll bring up Cabrera.
If he decides to throw Cabrera that slow breaking ball at some point in time, he better locate it. He's an outstanding breaking ball hitter, is Miguel.
One ball, 1 strike. For Cabrera tonight, a 2-run double in the first. He did not play last night. But sat out just 1 game with the biceps tendonitis. Ball high. Did the term biceps tendonitis exist when you played?
I never heard of it.
Did I?
Never heard of it.
They're getting so technical these days.
High ankle sprains, Didn't know anything about those. Hammock bones. I didn't even know I had one of those. Handmade bones, I should say.
Guys are having them removed now.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on these days that, guys used to pull hamstrings. They tear hamstrings now.
Here's the 3-1. 3-2 on Cabrera.
All fastballs in this at-bat to Caddy. All fastballs so far. Lethal breaking ball hitter. Most big, strong, physical guys, they don't think pitchers are going to throw them 5 straight fastballs. Therefore, they'll sit on a breaking ball early in counts. You can't do it now, but early in counts you can.
Into right field. Mitch Meyer coming on. 2 gone. 2 up, 2 down here in the 7th. Now Johnny Peralta.
That's called pitching right there. That's a nice job by Umber there to one of the best right-handed hitters in the American League. All fastballs. He changed the fork one to the strike zone, up, out, in, and then finally a well-located breaking ball to get the fly out to right field there of Cabrera.
Ball 1 on Johnny, who knocked it around with a sac fly in the 3rd tonight. Tigers led 2-0, then 3-0. Then 4-2, now it's 4-4. Inside. We're talking earlier about how Will Rhymes decided he would rather play at a small college as opposed to Rice University, where he probably wasn't going to play a whole lot. Well, Umber went to Rice, and he was a major part of their national championship team in 2003. They're both native Texans, Umber and Rhymes. Rhymes went to William and Mary. He's in the big leagues. Umber went to Rice. He's in the big leagues. Nacogdoches. Here's the 2-1. 3-1. And he walked him, so Peralta is on. 2-out base runner. Well, Tigers fans, this season it's easier than ever to find the seats that you want or sell the tickets to the games that you can't make on StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Detroit Tigers. Go to StubHub.com. Choose your seats today. Here's Brandon Inge. Ball 1 to Brandon. That missed high. Inge tonight is 0 for 2 with a walk. In the air to shallow right center. Meyer calling off his center fielder, and they almost collide. Mitch Meyer makes the catch, and the inning is over. No runs, a walk, 1 left. Stretch time here in KC. Royals go at it here in game 2. 4-4 is our score. Our Comerica game summary: Max St. Pierre making his big league debut after 14 minor league seasons. Jackson is homered in this game, and Kaihue has hit 3 homers this year, all against the Tigers. Of course, one of them coming here tonight to tie it up. There's a line drive speared by Peralta.
Max St. Pierre is one of those guys that the Tigers have trusted for 14 years to develop all of their young pitching prospects. Whether it be a starter, whether it be a reliever, he's been the guy that's kind of moved around from place to place to handle all of their young studs. They really appreciate the job that Max St. Pierre has done in their organization. And there was a time this year when they were thinking about calling him to the major leagues. The Beatles was really struggling from an offensive standpoint, and they felt like he may need to go back down to the minor leagues for a little bit more seasoning.
High fly ball, left center field. Rayburn, Jackson. Rayburn makes the catch, and there are 2 gone.
But Max broke his hand when they were thinking about possibly bringing him up, and he did not get called up at that point in time. So it was a little bit of bad luck on his part in that regard, but they really like what he has done, and I would not be shocked to see him in a Tigers uniform as a coach long after his playing days are done.
Here's Gregor Blanco with 2 outs. Porcello had 101 pitches through 6 innings. He is pitching here in the 7th to Blanco with 2 away, nobody on.
One of the reasons we've seen guys like Porcello and Scherzer and Bonham and Verlander go deep in games here lately is the fact that Jim Leyland really protected those guys early in the season. And that's why they're very fresh and very strong these days. Porcello's still throwing very hard. Fastballs 92, 93 miles an hour.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss.
As a manager, you can do it one of 2 ways. Either you can kind of space guys out, give them extra rest, as we take a look at this outstanding changeup by Porcello, located beautifully at the bottom of the strike zone, or you can kind of watch the amount of pitches they throw early in the season, and then they're fresh in September.
Here's the 2-2, and he got him strike 3. Porcello with an easy 7th inning,
and he's fresh in September.
7 in the books here in KC. It's a 4-4 game.
And Porcello made such nice, easy work that last half inning, needing only 9 pitches to get through the inning, that the youngster Pierre who said he was nervous at the beginning of the game, thought there was just 2 outs and threw that ball down to Brandon Inge. I guess he wanted to stay out there a little bit longer. He's having some kind of fun tonight.
What did Inge do with the ball? Just brought it in, I suppose.
I'm glad he was looking at it. It's all good.
Well, we are tied here at 4 runs apiece as we play in the 8th. Ned Yost coming out now and making a pitching change. So we'll step aside as the Royals dip into the pen. Store for locations, check out TurnToSpartan.com. Resident Evil Afterlife in 3D in theaters September the 10th. And by National Coney Island, fresh, fast, and friendly since 1965. Back here in Kansas City, and the Royals have gone back to the bullpen now as the Tigers try and break a 4-4 tie. And it looks like Dusty Hughes will take over against a pinch hitter. Wells was due up, and Don Kelly picks up the bat and fouls it away.
Well, I believe Jim Leland sent the pinch hitter up there before Ned Yost walked to the mound, and Ned Yost simply countered the move by bringing in the left-hander Hughes. He did not take him out at the beginning of the inning, but after the move was made by Jim, he countered the move by bringing in the left-hander, which meant that Ned Yost had a pretty good idea that Jim was probably going to pinch hit for Casper Wells. He had his left-hander ready to go. As I told you earlier, Ned Yost learned under Bobby Cox, one of the best in the history of this game, and there's not much he's going to miss on the baseball field.
Kelly had 3 hits in last night's ball game. 3 out of 5, and has had 5 hits on the road trip.
Did a nice job subbing for Miguel Cabrera.
375 over his last 19 games, and he bounces one to second right at Chris Getz. Kelly is gone, 1 away in the 8th. Here's Max St. Pierre. Dusty Hughes replacing Philip Umber, who replaced the starter Bruce Chen. Chen was taken out of this game in the 5th inning, threw a lot of pitches tonight. St. Pierre still looking for that first big league hit. He's 0 for 3. And there's a strike. 0-1.
Umber has pitched some real good baseball against the Tigers this year. Now 5 1/3 innings of scoreless relief against Detroit hitters.
Here's the 0-2. 1-2 on Max St. Pierre. outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Talk about the fact that St. Pierre spent most of his minor league career with the Tigers. He did spend 1 year in the Milwaukee system, and they loved his arm strength so much they tried a little bit of an experiment. They tried to convert him to a pitcher. That's how good his arm is, but that didn't last real long. He fouls that one away. And they say that he has an absolute gun behind there. He's not been able to show it off tonight, really hasn't had to. No. 3-2 on St. Pierre. 1 out of the 8th. Tigers find themselves tied up again late in a game. They had a 4-2 lead until Ka'aihue homered in the 6th inning. And that tied it up at 4. And there's a base hit into left center field. Max St. Pierre has his first major league hit. A single off Dusty Hughes. So they'll take that one out of play, and yet another first big league hit this season for a Tigers player.
That's very nice of these Kansas City Royals fans.
They posted it on the scoreboard that it's his first major league hit, and so they gave him a round of applause.
Like a little changeup that was away from Max, and he was able to hit past Betancourt, the shortstop, who doesn't miss much.
Here's Will Rhymes. And there's a base hit to right field. St. Pierre is on his way to second. He'll stop there. So the Tigers now with 1 out. They have 2 runners on.
Check out Johnny Damon here after the ball comes in.
Oh, a little deep going on there, like he threw it into the seats.
Yeah. He had the ball in his hand already.
He must have been holding a baseball for every one of his at-bats tonight.
They're still having fun, and they're still playing hard.
Ned Yost marching out to the mound, making another pitching change. He'll go right back to the bullpen. Tigers threatening here in the 8th with 2 men on.
Was Austin Jackson, and it was back in the 5th inning. It was a solo shot. Looked like he was out on his front foot, but he kept his hands back on a 2-seam fastball, and it carried into left center field. And the power for Jackson has started to show up here real late in the season. There were some that thought he would hit for more power than he has this year, but he has done everything that you could ever ask a rookie in his first campaign in the big leagues to do.
Well, once the power comes, I'm not sure what else is left. He's done just about everything else very well. We have a new pitcher on now, and that would be a right-hander. His name is Blake Wood.
I guess the one question that I'm asking myself now is a runner on second base. It's Max St. Pierre, and I don't know how well he runs, but it may be telling us, oh, no, here we go. Now we got a pinch runner now. I was getting ready to kind of wonder why we hadn't seen the pinch runner yet, and now we have one.
Well, that was late.
Now we have one. I was getting ready to say Laird must not be good to go tomorrow, which means that Avila would have to come in and catch. And if there was extra innings here tonight, Avila would have to catch the day game after a night game, and it's all a moot point now.
Look at the smile on St. Pierre's face. Boy, his teammates are fired up for him. All that time in the minor leagues, gets his first major league hit. There's a line drive, fair ball down the right field line. Here comes Bosch rounding third. They're going to send him home. He will score. That's a single and an RBI for Austin Jackson. A 3-hit night for Jackson, his second RBI. And the pinch runner scores.
"32nd double of the year." Now that ball sliced right past the first baseman, Billy Butler, who was playing well off the line, and even Meyer in the outfield with a good throwing arm could simply just get that ball back into the infield. And it's a good scouting report given the Jackson by McClendon on Wood, who has that real good fastball.
So again, Jackson goes the other way with a base hit. He's on the run, and he will have Damon foul it off. Jackson back to first.
That's unfortunate because Jackson had that base stolen, but as a left-handed batter, you really can't see that base runner running. And so you tend to swing more than the right-handed hitters would. Right-handers can see that guy taking off from first base, and a guy that's not afraid to take a strike would simply take one to allow Jackson to get into scoring position. I have one more question for you. Do you think that there was one part of Jim Leland in that situation with St. Pierre? He just wanted everything to settle to allow him to stay out there and enjoy that first hit and then come off the field after the relief pitcher
Maybe
came
that's
in?
it. Yeah, could be. Could be, because that's not something that probably would have dawned on Leland. Oh, that's right, I need a pinch hitter. Maybe that was it. Or a pinch runner. And I would say for Max, he's got to feel pretty good about himself tonight. He was able to catch his first big league game. He got his first major league hit. Take the rest of the night off, Max.
Wood pitched in the game last night, so they know how quickly he gets the ball to home plate. That's why Jackson took off on the very first pitch there to Damon. They feel like they can run on him. Whereas when Umber was in, they couldn't run on Umber. Umber was too quick the last time Jackson was on first base.
How many times this year have we said there's the first major league hit for so-and-so, and they'll take that ball out of play?
About 7 or 8 times. We've seen a lot of rookies up here this year.
Bosch in the dugout just moments ago gave St. Pierre a big hug.
Well, it's been Jackson, of course. It's been Rhymes. It's been Bosch, Wells, Danny Worth. A ton of them. And once again, it's the rookies in this inning that have gotten it done. Rhymes with a hit, St. Pierre with a hit, Jackson with another hit.
McClure's out to have a quick chat.
Now it's time for St. Pierre to head down to the bullpen so he can catch some bullpen here. As soon as his half inning's over, that's where he'll be.
What a great feeling that has to be for St. Pierre.
Surreal feeling. Surreal.
So the Tigers have taken the lead here. 3-1 is the count on Johnny Damon. Might as well add a few more.
Well, Jim put the squeeze play on in last night's game, and it was in this exact same count, but it was Jackson that was bunting, and Damon was on third. 3-1 offering.
And that got through the catcher on the swing and miss, and Rhymes will score standing up. Both runners move up. Big run for the Tigers. They're up by 2 now, 6-4.
Yeah, Rhymes saw that ball get through the legs of the rookie catcher May and was able to scamper home. And anytime you call for the breaking ball at the bottom of the strike zone as a catcher, you got to get down, you got to close those legs, and you got to make sure you keep that ball in front of you.
Three and 2 on Damon. And that's another one that gets by the catcher May. To the backstop it goes. Into third heads Jackson.
Wow.
That one he just seemed to box that one. He got a glove on it.
It looked like he was indecisive as to which way he was going to catch it, whether he was going to turn the glove the conventional way to catch it or turn underneath, because he thought that ball was going to bounce, and he ended up turning the glove the unconventional way to block it on a two-seam fastball, and it just hits right off his glove and trickles away. Now Jackson's on third base. That's have to be a pass ball there.
I would think so. First and third. Ryan Rayburn. A single and 4 at bats, trying to add to this Tigers lead. It's now a 2-run edge.
Yeah, don't expect Damon to run.
Driven back out of play. They indeed charged Lucas May with a pass ball.
And the reason why Damon will not run is because if Rayburn makes an out, Cabrera will get walked again. And they might still walk Cabrera with that base occupied if Damon's still standing there with 2 outs. Joe Madden did it 3 days in a row in Tampa when we were down there in Florida. Meanwhile, if you're Rayburn, this is a really nice spot to hit in because you know you're going to get a good pitch to hit.
Damon on base for the 3rd time tonight. A single and a double earlier in the game. Here's the 1-1. Rayburn hits a ground ball to short. This could be 2. Betancourt to Getz, and there is a double play. 6-4-3, but the Tigers take the lead, a 2-run 8.
Pierre gets his first major league hit. He gets lots of high fives in the dugout. Then he goes out to the bullpen to help out there. And a lot of his teammates this year in Toledo are out there to greet him. And some of the guys that have been in the big leagues all year long. And they are really, really happy for Max St. Pierre.
What a great guy. What a nice night for a great person. Max St. Pierre gets that first big league hit. And his teammates are there to congratulate him. Tigers have a new pitcher now. Phil Koch will check into this one.
Well, Phil Koch had the night off last night because he had been used in 3 of the last 4 games by Jim Leland. So he and Valverde were not available. They both are available here today. And he has done nice work this year. His earned run average is very good. He's won quite a few games. And he has pitched in quite a few games.
Alex Avila takes over behind the plate now. The first pitch to Mitch Meyer is inside. Meyer, Butler, Kaihue, 2, 3, and 4 in this inning. Tigers lead by 2. Ball outside, 2-0.
You know what's nice about this game as well is the fact that Jim sent Porcello back out there for the 7th inning. And he gave up a couple of runs earlier in the game, but now he stands to win this baseball game if the Tigers can hold on to this 2-run lead.
3-0 now the count. Mitch Meyer. A couple of other changes, or the other change I should say, down Kelly and right. So it's Kelly and right, Avila behind the plate, and Koch on the mound. 3-0 on Mitch Meyer. And he takes a strike, 3-1. Phil Koch making his 65th appearance. Only one pitcher this year in the league has gone 70 or more appearances already, and that's Randy Choate of Tampa. And Koch should join him before this season is over easily. Here's the 3-2. Bouncing ball to first base. Easy play for Cabrera. Myers out, 1 gone.
That is a very nice comeback there by Phil Koch. After falling behind 3 balls and no strikes, he came back with 3 straight fastballs to get the out.
And we bring up Billy Butler. 2 more hits tonight for Butler. Both of them singles, and he has an RBI.
There's a lot of hitters in the major leagues that have tried to pattern themselves after guys that have this little toe tap like Butler has. You kind of start in one spot, you tap, you go back, but it's hard to time. But he's had no problem with this toe tap.
And he shoots another one to right field. Look at that, another base hit. That'll be his 3rd of the game. And it'll bring the tying run to the plate. 3 singles for Billy Butler. Kila Kaihue now. He homered a 2-run shot, scoring Butler back in the 6th to tie the game up at that point. Kaihue has hit 3 home runs this year, all against the Tigers. What a year he had in AAA this year. Hit .319 with 24 home runs. He also had an on-base percentage, which was the best in the PCL at .463. He walked a lot.
He's earned this call-up. He was their best hitter in their minor leagues the last 2 years.
Foul tip.
But he's stuck behind Billy Butler.
It's a major roadblock.
When they made that deal a couple of years ago, and they brought that young man over from the Florida Marlins, Jacobs was his last name.
Mike Jacobs.
Remember, you got it.
Yep.
And he did not play very well, and that took all of Kaihue's at bats. So he had to stay in the minor leagues.
1-2.
That's probably one deal that Dayton Moore wishes that he hadn't made, because they sent a young pitcher, Leo Nunez, to the Florida Marlins, who's closing games for them now. But it happens. Dayton Moore is an outstanding young general manager.
And he got him, strike three. Kaihue knew it, and back to the bench he goes.
Outstanding breaking balls there by Phil Coke. All the ones that he threw were on the outer edges of home plate, and there was nothing that Keela could do.
6 strikeouts for Tigers pitching tonight. 2 away, and here comes another home run threat. You got to be careful with Josh Fields. Fields in this one is 1 for 3. Fields, as a rookie, hit 23 home runs a couple of years ago, and it looked like he was destined to have a really good big league career. Kind of fell out of favor with the Chicago White Sox. Ball missing away.
And Cabrera was not holding Butler at first base when Keela was in the batter's box before he struck out, because Kaihue is a pull hitter, but now with Fields in the batter's box, he is holding Butler on. Fields doesn't go in that direction all that often.
And he shoots one to right, base hit. Butler moves to second base, and the tying runs are on now for KC. Second hit of the game for Josh Fields.
That appeared to be a 2-0 fastball that was probably about 3-4 inches off the plate. And it was. Fields knew that they weren't going to give him anything to hit out of the ballpark. Therefore, he took that 2-0 fastball and simply took his base hit the opposite direction.
Rick Knapp coming out. See what they want to do with Gordon here, how they want to approach him. Gordon homered in the ball game last night. And Coke now in a little bit of trouble as Valverde and Bonan warm up. By the way, if Jose Valverde is credited with a save in this game, text Zoom to 37338 to enter to win a party in a Comerica Park suite. It is brought to you by Mazda.
Well, one thing I'm sure he's telling Phil Coke is don't hang that breaking ball inside to Gordon.
Gordon is hitless tonight, 0 for 3. 2 on, 2 out here in the 8th. And strike one as Coke quickly gets ahead. 96 miles an hour out of Phil Coke. Butler and Fields are your base runners. Not a whole lot of speed right now on the base paths. The 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Alex Gordon has struck out, grounded out, and flied out.
If Gordon's able to get a base hit in the outfield, don't know for sure, but most outfielders will simply come up and fire that ball to second base in this situation with 2 outs.
Here's the 1-1. 2-1.
And the reason for that is you want to keep Gordon out of scoring position. He's the winning run.
Bouncing ball, second base. Will Rhymes is there, and the threat is over. No runs. They get a couple of hits. Lead 2. We go to the ninth. Go to the ninth inning. It is 6-4. The Tigers holding on to a 2-run lead. We'll see if they can tack on some runs here. It'll be Cabrera to lead it off against the new pitcher now. And the new pitcher is Greg Holland.
And Greg Holland comes in with an earned run average over 8. He does have 10 strikeouts in 12 innings pitched against 8 walks. So he might walk a couple here.
Cabrera leads it off. And he takes ball 1. That one missed, and the count goes to 2-0 on Cabrera. Miguel, a 2-run double way back in the first inning in this one. He's also been walked intentionally tonight, to no one's surprise. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and it's into right field, base hit off the end of the bat,
off his shoe tops.
Cabrera has his second hit this evening. And the leadoff man is on now.
And one of the reasons why he hits 340, he goes in that direction quite often. 42 times he's gotten base hits that way, and about 10 home runs to right field as well, which is rare. Not many guys have that kind of power against the traffic.
Peralta hits one in the air to right center. Gregor Blanco makes the catch, one gone.
Cabrera also closing in on 33 intentional base on balls, which is a record held by Ted Williams and John Olerud in the American League, and with 5 more. And he'll get there. Would not be shocked to see him get there either.
Here's Brandon Inge.
In case you're wondering, Barry Bonds had 120 of those in the National League back in 2004.
Oh for 3 for Brandon tonight. He walked in the 5th inning. Down the middle it comes, 0-2.
Well, don't be shocked if Cabrera steals a base here. Holland is very slow, very deliberate. and getting that ball to home plate. And there has been a few times this year where he has just simply taken off, the big fella.
Swing and a miss. Inge unable to stop his swing. And out number 2 is a strikeout. It's going to leave it up to Don Kelly. Holland had made his big league debut earlier this year. It was back on August 2nd when he was called up from Omaha, their AAA team. Kelly hits one in the air toward left center field. Hit pretty good, but it's going to be caught by Alex Gordon. And the Tigers are done after the leadoff single. Holland does a nice job. We go to the bottom of the ninth.
By pitch, courtesy of Rick Porcello, who pitched 7 real good innings in this game. He only made 3 bad pitches, and that resulted in the 4 runs that Kansas City put on the board. But when he was good, he was outstanding. 2-seam fastballs at the bottom of the strike zone. He threw some curveballs. He had some late life on his 2-seamer. He also threw some sliders, and Jim showed a lot of confidence in Porcello, sending him out there in the 7th inning after he'd already thrown 100 pitches, and that's why he's in line to get the win here today. Only 1 walk as well by Rick Porcello. 7 hits given up. He had 5 strikeouts and a boatload of ground balls. Hey fans, you can follow the Tigers on your iPhone, iPod Touch, BlackBerry, and Android phones with MLB.com at Bat 2010, featuring play-by-play, video highlights, and live audio broadcast. Visit Tigers.com today for more details.
So Jose Valverde will come on now to try and get the final 3 outs in this one and give the Tigers a win in each of the first 2 games.
Valverde looked good the final 2 innings that he threw in that 13-inning affair in Minnesota just a couple of nights ago. He gave up the lead the very first inning, but when he went back out there for the 12th and the 13th, well, he looked like the Valverde of the first half of the season.
Brian Pena's pinch hitting in the first pitch sails all the way to the backstop.
And this is why he looked so good that day. He was not throwing 4-seam fastballs. He was throwing 2-seam fastballs with a lot of late life on them. And he also rediscovered that split-fingered fastball. And this was the best I'd seen Valverde throw the second half of the year. He looked like an all-star. That is for certain. And that's the guy they're looking for here tonight.
Pena is 2 for 2 career against Jose Valverde. Played in the ball game last night, was 1 for 3, had an RBI. Trying to get it going here in a 2-run game in the bottom of the 9th inning. And he missed again. 3-0. Valverde trying to get his 25th save. Didn't want to put the leadoff man on. It will bring the tying run to the plate. Getz and Betancourt due to follow. They still have Wilson Betemit on their bench. And he walked him. Leadoff man is on. Well, here are the three youngsters and what they have done today for the Tigers. Rick Porcello, 7 strong innings with 5 strikeouts. St. Pierre got his first big league hit. Will Rhymes a couple of hits as well for the Tigers in this one, a 12-game hitting streak.
Well, we told the great Tiger fans at the top of our show at 7 o'clock the reasons to watch, and it was Rick, and it was Max, and it was Will Rhymes, and there you have it. They've all done very nice work here tonight.
So Betemit will pinch hit now for Getz. He is called back. Betemit as the leadoff man out. He is the tying run. And he takes ball 1. Betemit played in the ball game last night, was 0 for 5. He has home run potential, 10 home runs this year. He's having himself quite a season. Hitting over 300. One ball, one strike. Foul back out of play. Now Valverde ahead of the count. 1-2. Upper 90s heat from Valverde. 98 in the previous pitch. 97 on that one. Trying to take care of Betemit here. Tigers have out hit the Royals tonight 11-9, but the Tigers have also left make it 10 men on base. 11 hits, 10 stranded.
And Valverde would take that ground ball right here for sure. Possible double play. But Betemit does not hit in the mini.
Swing and a miss. That'll work as well. One gone.
Real good split-fingered fastball here, and I don't know if it's a two-seam fastball that he started featuring that's allowed him to get back to that real good arm slot, which has allowed him to have success or not. This is the starters tomorrow, and we'll have it right here at 1:30 on FS Detroit in high definition. Galarraga and Kyle Davies.
Here is Betancourt now with 1 on, 1 out. Ooh, way inside. Betancourt ducking out of the way. Udieski is 0 for 3 in this one tonight. Chin music. Here's the 1-0. Bouncing ball to short. Peralta flips to second. There's one. There's a double play, and Valverde gets the save, and the Tigers hold on to this one, winning it 6-4. A 6-4-3 double play ends the game. And Valverde, after walking the leadoff man, does some nice work tonight. Tigers have made it 2 straight in this series.
I think Valverde's onto something. I think he's back.
And the Tigers tomorrow will be going for the sweep of the Royals. Final score in this one, 6-4. Back with more.